Alright. Well, hello there! This is my third episode of Home. So, I hope you've enjoyed thus far, or if you're just jumping on the bandwagon now, I hope you're going to enjoy this episode just as much as you've enjoyed maybe some of my other stuff in the past. I'd like to think, farther back. Alright, so I think we're back to where we are now, if we weren't before. So it's, it put me back about 9 minutes, but it's not too bad, because I'm just going to skip over it. I'm missing some! No! Well, that's okay, because that's not exactly the objective anyways. Oh! Oh, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do some of this. Yeah, there are all these switches around here that I guess I finally just figured out how to work. And to the left, there's a door that if I go into, I have to jump down, and it hurts my leg, and I can't move at all. And it honestly just seems like a bad idea. So, I'm gonna finish up with this power thing, because power is important to life. It's kind of a necessity in America at this point. I mean, without power, we wouldn't have a lot of the things that we have now. There it goes. I think I got them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I don't know where I got those numbers from, but you know, like, I don't know. I'm weird, okay? I accept this. I hope you do too. I hope you accept me for who I am and not who I'm trying to be. With the power boxes working again, the door was unlocked. Did I go through? Yes, I went through the door. A rack of flashlights hung on the wall. One of them was missing. No! Not the missing flashlight! I almost slipped into the muck. As I stepped back outside, my mind was racing. Who had been drinking in that locker room? Was it that guard I found outside? The sight of that man slumped up against the fence came back to me in a wave and sickened me. Did the flashlight I carried belong to him? Or maybe to Norman? Me and Rachel were friends. Maybe you could help. He and Rachel. I knew he lived above the store he ran now. Maybe that was where I would go if I could find a way back into town. Okay, let's go back into town. That sounds like a fun time. Town's a fun place. Lots of fun things happen. A rusty old truck had careened off the road and into the guardrails. Its front was crushed, and its windows had all been smashed. Judging by the rust, it had been there for a while. La 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 la. Sounds like something's following me, and I'm not sure if I like it. Usually stalkers are all fun, though. Not really. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and silk. Black bags. I saw a thin, greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was a driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it? I cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this? I took the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Was it mine? I'm gonna assume it was mine. Because, well, he made it sound like it was. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. No! Not the rain! Not the rain! Anything but the rain! I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was old, oddly quiet, except for the faint sound of a television. Time to go see what he's watching. Hopefully he's not watching porn. Because, well, that would just be awkward. For him, though. I mean, I guess I wouldn't care too much. Like, hey, dude, how's it hanging? What was this? It looked like a pole chain hanging from the ceiling. I wonder where it lead. I gave the chain a single tug, and a simple folded ladder to the attic popped down. Ah! Well, hey, bud! Oh no! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman was my coworker and one of my few friends. I had this town lay dead beside his armpit. His friend and his face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd shot, trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Quickly, I closed Norman's eyes. I'd never been to Norman's place before. At least, I didn't remember ever doing so. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Yes, I did. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Yes! That hairpin will save my life, and I am assured of it. Or, I could pick a lock. That would be good, too. I'm gonna turn this television off. The television is still flickering some indecent channel. I'm not done searching yet. I'll go up the ladder when I want to. Okay? The door opened. I didn't think it would open. Despite the shock of already finding Norman in this state, seeing this turned my stomach just as much. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. What was it doing there? Was she okay? I don't know. I thought, alright. Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifle, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of these slots on the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet? I carefully pushed the piece back into place and felt a great burn lifted. A close call! I kind of want the gun back. Can I take the gun back? I don't know why I put it down. I wanted the trophy for putting it down, but I don't know. Eskimos these days just don't know what they're doing. Alright, this is the way down. I don't want to know. There was a large cardboard box that hadn't been sealed. Did I open it? I opened up the old cardboard box and wasn't entirely surprised by what I saw. There were more of Rachel's things, more of my wife's clothing. Photos, shoes, even that old radio I gave her. Why, Rachel? What were you doing here with Norman? Maybe I found them, and then I repressed the memory of killing my best friend and my wife. I don't know, it's just a thought. That's how I feel like this is gonna go. I don't know why I'm going back this way. I feel like I have to find more thingies, you know? Kind of a searcher. I didn't mean to go back up. Down we go! Now that I got that hairpin, I used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. She was doing him while shopping. I don't know. The register was mostly empty, and a fat snack stack of travel magazines sat beside it. They were gonna move away. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. But not fully melted yet. That's important. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape than it'd been weeks since I'd last seen Norman, and finding him that way still left me cold. Thinking of him slumped against that chair only cemented my reassurance in getting rid of that gun. It looked like someone had taken that piece from his store, but why was it in those tunnels? As I stepped outside, I recalled that dusty old box of clothing in Norman's attic. I felt like I had only discovered more questions, no answers, but it was close to home. It was time to find out the truth. Alright, I was waiting for the rain noises, and it took a while. It was locked. This wasn't the right gate. Alright. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. That's my house. Sorry, I got a texty text. I wanted to make sure it wasn't from anybody I needed to answer right away. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. Why are there so many gates leading back? The neighborhood's local post box. A letter was sticking out, as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but I looked at it anyways. The envelope was addressed to Norman. There was no return address, but the handwriting looked familiar. I took a deep breath and tore open the package. Norman! I'm sending this to you in a letter because I'm afraid to tell you in person. What we did, well, it was wrong. My husband isn't an easy man to be with, but he is my husband and your friend. I needed some time to sort this out. I don't know why I'm switching between accents for this woman. Away from you both. I'm going away for a while. I'm going to tell him. Norman, so don't you think you can hold that against me? Maybe we'll work it out. I'm not sure I even want to. But he deserves at least that much. Goodbye, sir! I know I added words in there. It was kind of funny for me. I think there's more. More. Okay. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. Sorry, I'm still laughing about that note. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. Maybe Rachel's gone. Maybe I didn't kill Rachel. That would be nice. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. Oh. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? I don't know. Yep, we're not going that way. That way is... The door to the basement was locked. Where'd I put that damned key? Maybe upstairs. The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I should know this. This is my house. Why is it telling me this? I found the last missing piece of my wallet, the old photo of Rachel, and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. I took it anyways, though. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling that I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Well, one, wife was cheating on you. Wife did. I don't know how long they were together, but your wife at least cheated on you. So that's enough reason to be mad at her. But I really hope he didn't kill her. Because cheating does not amount to killing. These are two different gaps. You know, like, I'm not even sure. You should never kill somebody. Just saying. Our television I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then, it was too late. Okay? No more information than that. That door's locked. Now I'm gonna go to the bedroom, right? Whoa. Our hallway mirror had been smashed. Its pieces shattered across the floor. Scattered. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't gotten around to fixing it yet. No, the humanity! We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old clawfoot bathtubs. I don't know if that's lucky. I think it's sarcasm, but I don't know this guy to be sarcastic, so I'm just gonna assume that it's not. My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website. I don't want to know! There was a key in the top drawer of the desk. Did I take? Of course I took the key. It's my key. I sometimes ask questions and it's kind of like, okay. I don't know why I went back in this door. I'm actually going to attempt to finish this game on this recording because I want to get back to Outlast for a while. And to do that, I kind of have to finish this one because I feel like I'm already halfway into it. I might as well finish it before I go back. The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey now! That I looked more closely. It looked like the man in the house had some of the same books as I did. Maybe it's me. My wife Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had feelings what was in it. Did I? That was a really creepy noise for opening. Rachel's suitcase contained clothes, toiletries, and a train ticket. Is this what you were going to do with Norman? She just said that she was going to leave both of you. Why would you assume that? Old people these days. Alright, down we go! I think I've been in here. Yep, TV. Time to go downstairs! Got the key, can finally go. Oh, the key might be to this room over here. Okay, then I guess I don't have the key for that one yet. But I do have the key for... Huh? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked these up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? I ripped open the bill and read it. It was my surprise. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payments. What the actual hell? The front door was locked from the inside. I couldn't go out, though I needed to see if Rachel was here. I got the key. What does the key do? I unlocked the basement. Okay, that's the basement. So that little tidbit is finally answered. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. There were old clothes and tools and other things we obviously had thrown away. Old yet. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key there. Did I take the key? I took the small key, tried to remember what it unlocked. I already know what it unlocks. I already read that one already. I put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and The drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through it if I found something heavy enough. My shoulder blade! That should be enough, right? I have a plank. Maybe the plank works. How do you equip thingies? I don't think you equip thingies. Nope. So I don't have a thingy yet. But I'll find that thingy. This is outside, right? Yeah, basically outside. Kitchen, same difference. So I have the key for this door, right? The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? Or I argued with my wife, either one. There was an old crowbar on the floor. That'll work. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. Like, yep, that should be heavy enough. That's probably what he was thinking. Gotta go down again. Of course I broke the wall. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Don't look. Not looking. Ah! Ah! I don't wanna. I'm getting creeped out. How big is their basement? A filthy looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, what? Oh no! My hands trembled as I pulled back the layer of clothing. At the center, under all the bags and mesh, was my beloved Rachel. Her arms were bruised all over and slashed repeatedly. Her clothes were ripped and torn, and even through all that sickening blood, it was obvious she had been stabbed to death. The knife I had carried all this way suddenly seemed like a poison. What had happened to Rachel? Who did this to you? I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. I'm gonna guess this guy. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away in shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Don't close your eyes, sir! 'Cause it might not be you. I lived. I actually lived. That's unexpected. Maybe I would use some of the Rachel's traveling books. I didn't see how it could have happened any other way. I must have been the one to lose my wallet and its contents. But what does this mean? There was a... There. That was decided. This was old photos of the other man and his wife, I assumed. I found it in that house. I recall those faded remains I had found deep underneath his house. What had he done there? Well, what did I think? Was that man involved in this mess of somehow? Definitely those tunnels, the old tools in his house, and the remains of his wife. He wasn't innocent, that's for sure. I don't know what to do now. Well, at least I know I have to go down. probably down. I couldn't go back down until I had gone over everything. I needed to make sure I was perfectly clear. The mail still sat there, heaped on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? I couldn't leave. Well, so I gotta figure something out. So I'm gonna retrace my steps until I find this thingy out. My old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. I used a digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I had left it somewhere. You forgot the code to your own safe, sir? That's not a good thing. Let's go find that code. It was the letter I'd taken from the post office, Rachel, where you really having an affair with Norman, but why? I didn't think things were that bad. In the letter, Rachel seemed concerned. She almost seemed worried of what Norman might do. Did he do that to Rachel? Yes, we're gonna say yes. I was sure of it. She wanted to end their affair, and that bastard, he killed her for it. A lot of it made sense. Norman was clearly seeing Rachel a lot, so he had plenty of time to plan it out, and he knew where we lived, obviously. Is that why Rachel looked so scared when I came home that day? What had happened to me? Did Norman knock me out or something? I still had no idea what was on that tape. I found it in the garbage. If only I had found a way to watch it. I have a TV right there! From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. Oh, maybe it's because the VHS don't exist anymore. That might be it. That's the safe. Gotta go this way. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be finding. I already looked at that. It was like I didn't actually expect a reflection. Felt empty and drained. The quiet in that room unnerved me terribly. I still loved the old-time charm of the claw-footed bathtub, though it seemed like cold comfort then. I don't know why he likes that so much, because, well, they still make them. It's not like you can't buy them. You can buy anything with money. It was the key card I found at the bottom of the factory locked. I never did bother to use it. Someone had been going through those lockers and poking around the plant. Still, it didn't quite add up. Was I the one who had been going back to the factory? What do you guys think? We're gonna say yes, because I've been saying yes to everything. It looked that way, didn't it? The locker room, I had given up drinking, but I could still be drinking, you know? The laptop was dead, but I found some notes and loose paper in the drawer where I had found the key. There was a yellow sticky note with the 8-digit code on it. Yeah, the code looked like it might be for the safe. But what kind of phrase was that? Was there actually a phrase? I'm sorry, I didn't look. I just thought it was like numbers. I didn't know if it was important. But yeah, in your own playthrough, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. This game is actually, you can pretty much change its outcome, I think. I don't know if you really can, but the code I found should have let me access the safe. Did I try? Yeah, the code worked. I pulled open the small safe door and peered inside. There was a photo in there of Rachel and I when we had first moved to town. In it, we were smiling outside the front of the house, which looked like a real mess. We looked happy though. Odd, I couldn't remember who took that photo. Inside the safe was also an envelope. The front of it read, "Do not open until I tell you." I guessed this was a good time as any to see what was inside. Ugh. Did I open the envelope? Of course I opened the envelope. I tore open the envelope and removed the yellow lined paper inside. It was a letter written in my hand that looked familiar. The letter read, it's probably Rachel's. I know this whole event was probably pretty difficult. Yeah, you can't imagine how hard it was for me to, well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but, well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seemed like such a dream, a quiet place to get established, to live out our lives, and to be together. But you know as well as I do that things quickly changed. Your drinking was one thing, but as you grew more distant, as you retreated into the world of your, well, it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all, but it took all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this. You may never forgive yourself, but this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm just sorry it had to happen this way, Rachel. Alright! I know she didn't kill herself. That's pretty freaking obvious. But that sounded awfully ominous. You can't, I don't know. I guess you can stab yourself repeatedly, lots of times. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go down into the basement. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take a look. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Did I take the knife? Yes. I took the knife and knew it firmly in my hand. Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back into the room again. I had already seen too much. I might have to connect this to battery. It might just be like screaming, "Shh! Stop!" I knew I needed to escape that nightmare, but what about the knife I still carried? One sec, I'm gonna put this on the charger. That's only like a... I wondered even if I left, would it really be over? So did I leave that house forever? I left. I ran the hills. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guessed that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctor's reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. Why would drinking ever help? Drinking never helps people. But I swear I had tried to give it up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away though, but I know Rachel had tried. I know she had tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night hadn't had unearthed tablet truths, but I knew it was final act of a long-standing horror I had been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. It was obvious to me that the man I had found in that house had something to do with all this. Could he have killed Rachel? It started to seem that there were too many things I had seen to think otherwise. Now that I thought of it, those sewers were a terrible mystery. What had happened there? I was lucky in my way to even find my way out of there. But I never did find what was on that tape that I knew that I now kept. What might it have shown me? I had found the contents of my wallet scattered throughout town. Why the hell had I been out there? I sleepwalk. Had my sleepwalking gone to some new extreme? The thought that I couldn't account for my whereabouts, but I knew I had been in that forest, and even Norman's place. Well, it was terrifying. I didn't know what that meant, but at least I had recovered my things. Hopefully thought that would never cover my tracks, so I wouldn't be blamed for all this. The tangled mess of that horrible forest was an experience I had never wanted to repeat. It was clear, at least, that I had been the one going back to that factory.
Whoa! Breathing, sorry.
I must have been sleepwalking or something, but what the hell was I doing there? I had given up drinking, hadn't I? So what was going on in the boarded up room? Suddenly my stomach started to turn. Was I responsible for that dead god? After the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store, but all I had found were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really consider it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Norman, you were dead. You dead son of a chicken nugget. And it was damn hard to feel bad about that.
Really? It's your friend and he died. Okay, you cheated on your wife. You cheated with your wife. But that doesn't mean he's a dick entirely. Just he's not a nice person. But he's still your friend. That's what I'm trying to get out.
It was clear you and Rachel were more than just friends, but obviously whatever had been going on had gone badly. So why did you kill her? Did she want out of whatever you two were getting into? Were you responsible for the other murders and of those other horrible things that had gone that town? I would find no peace, that much was certain, but this way I didn't have to look you in the eyes or sit through some kind of trial and wonder what was going through your head. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end, and I guess, in a way, it did. But how could I have known how hopeless it was all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked. To think of it now, coming through the back door and into the kitchen, should have tipped me off that something was horribly wrong.
I am running out of oxygen now.
And this voice really hurts, so there was no sound of television radio, even though air was still. But seeing Rachel there, lying ruined and discarded in the basement, that was a horror. That was a horror I could never have imagined. That other man I had found was involved in that. In all this, somehow I knew it. But it was Norman. That treacherous son of a bitch who had done that deed. Whatever was going on, he was the one who took Rachel away from me. I hated him for it more than I could possibly express, but that offered no strength, no solace. Rachel was gone now, and I was too forever? Oh, he's leaving. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and frog. Rachel, my beautiful wife, just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew the front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I couldn't stand there. But
rather that I can't talk anymore. The credits! No! I had so many questions. So many questions I have to... It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's fine. What do you think happened? It's completely up to you. All of it is. Yes, I know. It's all up to you. I believe in you. And nobody else. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. So, home is dedicated to my wife, Nancy. Watch your back. What? What? So, that's really creepy. That's a really weird way to end. This smiling motherfucker. I don't know why I said that. Well, I had fun, so peace out. Have a nice day. Sorry this got so long. I wanted to finish.